right, let's dive into something a little weird. We're going to look at the stranger side of history, digging into some of the most bizarre, unbelievable, true stories of how people checked out. Seriously, you couldn't make this stuff up.
It's a kind of strange question to think about, right? But for the people we're going to talk about today, their last act on Earth became the only thing anyone remembers about them. For better and, well, for worse.
So we've got 3 stories for you, 3 case files from the annals of history that are honestly stranger than fiction. We're going to see some incredible sacrifice, a shocking twist of fate, and a dose of just pure, unbelievable irony.
Okay, for our first case file, picture this. It's the late 1800s, and there's this terrifying disease called yellow fever, just tearing through populations. It was awful, and the worst part, nobody had a clue how it spread. It was a complete and total mystery.
But way back in 1881, a Cuban scientist, a guy named Carlos Finley, he comes up with this wild idea. He suggests that this massive, deadly plague is being spread by something tiny, almost insignificant, the bite of a single infected mosquito.
So what did the big shot scientists of the day think? They laughed. I mean, they straight up ridiculed the guy. They thought the idea was just complete nonsense. But there was one person, an American doctor named Jesse William Lazier, who took it very, very seriously.
In fact, Lazier was so sure that Finley was right, he decided to perform the ultimate experiment, using the ultimate test subject, himself. In an unbelievable act of scientific bravery, he found a mosquito that he knew was carrying yellow fever and just let it bite him.
And it worked. Tragically, he got sick, really sick. And just a few days after that bite, he was dead.
But here's the thing, his death wasn't for nothing. Far from it. It was the absolute, undeniable proof they needed. His sacrifice proved that Carlos Finley had been right the whole time. It completely changed how we understood the disease and led to control efforts that have saved literally millions of lives. A truly heroic ending.
Okay, let's shift gears from an act of incredible bravery to something a little different. Meet Gary Hoy. He was a super successful lawyer in Toronto, a real character, known for being a bit of a showman and for having a very, very dangerous party trick. So this was his thing, his signature move. He'd brag to people about how strong the windows were in his 24th floor office. And to prove it, he'd take a running start and just slam his body full force into the glass. He'd done it a bunch of times, and he'd always just harmlessly bounce off. People were always shocked. So, July 9th, 1993. He's got a group of students visiting the firm. And of course, he's got to show off the trick, right? So he takes a running start, hits the window, and bounces right off, just like always. But for some reason, he decides to do it again. On his second attempt, he hit the window again. And in a way, he proved his point. The glass itself, it didn't break. It was totally fine. What he discovered, though, was that the window frame couldn't handle the impact. The entire pane of glass just popped out of the wall, and Gary Hoy plunged 24 stories to his death. If you thought that last one was wild, just wait. Our final case file might be the most absurd of them all. This is the story of Frank Hayes. He was a horse trainer who, back in 1923, got a once-in-a-lifetime shot to live out his dream and ride as a jockey in a real race.
Yeah, nobody, and I mean nobody, thought he had a shot. He wasn't some seasoned pro, and the horse he was riding, Sweet Kiss, was a total long shot. We're talking 20-to-1 odds against them, the absolute underdog.
So the race starts on June 4th, 1923. And you are not going to believe this, but somehow, against all odds, they start pulling ahead. They're flying down the final stretch and they cross the finish line first. An absolutely miraculous, unbelievable upset.
The crowd goes wild, but as the horse slows to a trot, people start to notice something's off. The horse's owner runs over to congratulate him, but Frank Hayes isn't celebrating. In fact, he's not even moving. He's just slumped over in the saddle.
And that's when they realize the unbelievable, horrifying truth. Sometime during that final, thrilling stretch of the race, Frank Hayes had suffered a massive heart attack. His body had stayed in the saddle, and his horse, Sweet Kiss, literally carried his corpse across the finish line for the win.
He is, to this day, the only jockey in history to have ever won a race after he was already dead. And the horse? She got the superstitious nickname Sweet Kiss of Death. And, yeah, she never raced again. Can you blame them?
Wow, okay. So, a scientist's heroic sacrifice, a lawyer's fatal party trick, and a dead jockey's impossible win.
What on earth do we even make of all this? What do these strange exits from history actually tell us?
Well, I think they show us some pretty profound things. You see the incredible power of a selfless sacrifice. You see that razor-thin line between being confident and being fatally reckless. And you see that the universe sometimes has a really dark, really strange sense of humor. It just reminds you that history isn't just about big battles and famous leaders, it's also shaped by these moments of bizarre chance and just plain human weirdness.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? As we're all living our lives with our own modern challenges and absurdities, what strange, unbelievable stories are unfolding right now that are going to become the wild historical footnotes of our own time?
Get ready to meet some of history's most unlikely and most incredible heroes.
You're probably picturing a soldier, right? Maybe a pilot or a general on the battlefield. But history is full of animals whose bravery was just next level. Let's meet them.
In World War I, Albert Marr just couldn't leave his pet baboon, Jackie, behind.
So Jackie became a real soldier. He marched, saluted officers, and even had his own uniform.
His sharp senses warned of attacks, and he even tended to his owner's wounds on the battlefield.
All right, fast forward to World War II. Meet Gustav, a service pigeon for the Royal Air Force.
On D-Day, he had one critical mission: fly a message 150 miles back to Britain. He delivered the very first news from Normandy, earning him a prestigious medal for bravery.
Also in WW2, some Polish soldiers adopted a Syrian brown bear cub they named Wojciech.
Wojciech grew up with them and was even officially enlisted in the Polish military as a private.
His job was to haul huge artillery crates, a task that usually took 4 men. He never dropped one.
In 1948, a scrappy cat named Simon was smuggled aboard the British warship HMS Amethyst.
When the ship was attacked, Simon was badly wounded by shrapnel. He wasn't expected to survive.
But he made a full recovery, got back to hunting rats, and became a global celebrity.
Okay, our final hero served in the Korean War with the US Marine Corps. Meet Reckless.
Reckless was a real character, and yeah, she would eat just about anything you gave her.
During one intense battle, she made an unbelievable 51 solo trips to the front lines.
In a single day, she carried over 9,000 pounds of ammunition to resupply the troops.
All told, she traveled more than 35 miles, often under heavy enemy fire. Just incredible.
This display of pure grit and bravery saved so many lives out on that battlefield.
For her heroism, she was promoted to staff sergeant and even got 2 Purple Hearts, a true Marine.
They weren't just mascots. They were soldiers, lifelines, and absolute undeniable heroes. It makes you wonder, right? What other amazing stories like these are hiding in history?